Hey,
Hey,
everybody.
Good
Wow.
evening.
Yeah, we're
good
back.
evening.
I get so into the music that I.
I
Right?
know.
Yeah. So I know
I'm
we had
busting out moves like fat people. And I don't mean FAT. I meant anyway. Shut up.
so yeah, we had quite the discussion going on a little while ago of just about every topic that we could cover. So what'd y'all do in the last week before we get into our big topic tonight? Anybody?
Work.
Work, the grind.
Yeah, I know, right?
Working, yeah. And I
Yeah.
dove into this Manson family. I know it's been done 100 times before, and I've heard it 100 times before. And every time I hear it, there's always something new, and it's just mind-boggling.
So tonight we are doing cults and how each of us have taken a cult, and we're going to kind of dive into it. And we may end up with a part 2 or part 3 of this because we don't want to cut anybody off. There's so much information on these cults, and I know that a lot of these cults, like Bertie said, have been done to death, but it's mind-blowing to me, some of this information, and I think it's we'd like to cover it. And I'd also like you guys to think about, when you're talking about them, like what that energy does from the paranormal and the spiritual side of thing. What is that? You know what I'm saying? Like, what does that energy do to people who are involved in this and get out, or that lingers in an area from some of this stuff? Let's think about that.
Mm-hmm.
Who wants to go first?
I don't know, but what's on your hat?
Oh,
Mad Max.
This? Oh, your hat? Mad Max. Oh, yeah.
What?
I love that. You got a new hat. I love it. What? Okay, I can't read that. What does it say?
It says
Emergency
emergency encounters.
Holy
Mad
crap,
Max.
where did you get? I love that.
We'll talk later.
Oh, that is so cool. I love it. Okay. All right.
We'll talk later.
Okay, who wants to go first? How about Bertie? Do you want to start?
Jessie went, and she's the only one.
I did.
Okay,
I was
let's
clapping.
No, you weren't.
For the hat.
Okay.
You liar.
Whoa.
I'll go.
Oh, it's getting real in here, man.
Man,
That's
it's
not what
hot.
Jessie meant, by the way. I think she meant, anyway. Okay, who wants to go? Bertie, let's go. Let's
I think
hear
Bertie
about-
should go.
All right, fine. We'll start with the Manson family. So, 1968, the summer of love. A certain man named Charles Manson was incarcerated, but he was just getting let out. And during his time in prison, the Beatles were a huge thing. And this man, for some reason, decided that he was going to be the next big thing, bigger than the Beatles.
Huh.
And he was let out. For whatever reason, he made it to California, mingled around with the hippies at the corner, the famous corner, High Ashbury. Started getting followers because of his preachings,
Right.
or whatever.
He was very what is the word, like he had some kind of magnetism, and that's what
he was very charismatic.
Yeah, charismatic, right? A lot of people just
Gregorious. He was very gregorious as well.
yeah.
He could capture
Loud. Yeah, he was loud and gregarious, and
he could capture.
people would come over and see what he was preaching about, and eventually he got about 100 followers under his wing. And okay, this is Summer of Love, so there's a lot of drugs going on, and a lot of it was amphetamine and hallucinogens. A lot of it was LSD, and a few conspiracy theories was that while he was in prison, he was approached by people in the CIA to do a little experimentation, which is
You buy that?
Wow.
unfounded.
Yeah, I don't buy that at all.
Yeah.
He was too strung out to be of any use to anybody.
Well, yeah. Well, then there's okay. Well, we'll get into this later, but yeah, there's Ted Kaczynski
much.
too. That was anyway. Moving on.
Moving on.
So in around 1967, they moved into him and his commune moved into a place called Spawn Ranch.
Yeah.
And
Mad
they
Max,
all-
wasn't that out in the desert?
Yeah,
it was
he
out
did.
in
And it was an old man's ranch, and they ended up moving in with him and taking it over.
Yeah.
yeah, they moved in, but Spawn Ranch was actually a set for a lot of old
Mhm.
cowboy TV shows and
Okay.
I think
movies.
Bonanza, I
Oh,
believe.
okay.
Yeah.
No, Bonanza was up in Tahoe.
No. Okay. What was it? Oh, I'll have to look it up.
Probably the Lone
There you
Ranger
go.
or something like that. That was out in the desert.
Yeah.
So while all this is going on, him and his family are out and about, moving around, and getting ties into other people because Manson thought he was going to be the next big thing. So they are moving around out and about, and he's sending his ladies out to fish around for bigwigs. You know what I mean? Record producers, musicians, stuff like that. One of the drummers from the Beach Boys
Beach Boys, that's right.
picked up a couple girls from the Manson family and took them back. He took them back to his place, and they hung out. And he's like, I have to go to the recording studio. I'll be right back. He comes back, and the whole Manson family, not all of them, a lot of them, moved into his place.
Moved into whose place? The Beach
The
Boys
drum-
place?
The Beach
Was that
Boys.
Brian
place.
Wilson?
I think it was
Wilson.
Brian Wilson. Yeah.
So
Wow.
yeah, unbeknownst to him, they moved in. He was cool with it because it is the 1960s, drug, sex, rock and roll, and he was there. They were there for a while until I guess it got uncomfortable, and he left. Brian
Yeah.
Wilson he
He
left
left his
whole
house?
mansion.
Wow.
Well, he's outnumbered, right? So he's probably got Manson's whole entourage.
Yeah, and according to him, they were going to have dinner, and he went downstairs, and they had some kind of family dinner going on, and he sat down in a chair, and he was like, the vibe is wrong, so he's like, I'm going to go take a shower, and he politely excused himself, and he went and took a shower, and when he got out of the shower, Manson was there, staring him face to face, and he's like, you shouldn't have done that, like staring right at him.
Dang.
Yeah, so
I know that Charles Manson considered himself a musician, like some big.
yeah.
He wasn't all of that.
Oh yeah. Well, Manson's whole point was to get signed to become bigger than the Beatles, right?
Yeah.
So he was using all these people as stepping stones. He finally got in touch with one of these really big people, and he's like, okay, let me hear your music. He played it for him, and the guy went, okay, I don't know what this is. I don't know where to put you in music. I mean, it's not
Right.
rock, it's not rock, it's not folk, it's and he's like, I don't know where to put you. And that was the end of the conversation. And Manson took that as an insult, very bad insult. He goes back to the farm, whatever you want to call it, the ranch, whatever. And he starts losing his stuff. I mean, they're taking LSD, they're taking amphetamines, and he goes in there in a tirade, and he just starts preaching, I am Jesus, will you kill for me, blah, blah, blah. And then there's a couple of murders that happen, but the most infamous was the Tate murders.
Right. But I think what's fascinating about the Mansons, though, is that he had the ability. He was like 5'1". He was this little dude, wasn't he, Mad Max? Because you've seen him, right? Like,
Right.
Yeah.
He was. You know, the funny thing about him was he was so small, but like I said, he was so charismatic. He could draw people in, and he actually, I mean, if you think about it, you know, you get behind somebody like that, and heck yeah, he can draw you in, and you can do whatever that guy wants you to do. He can get it. He knew he was a study. Once he went to prison, he was a study.
yeah.
And yeah, he was a pretty interesting guy.
Yeah, I was just going to say something about his eyes. Like there was something about him, and he looked very, from what I was reading too, there was a lot of people that said when you met him, he had this charismatic energy, but some people also were very guarded with him because it was couldn't tell if he was sincere or evil at the same time.
Yeah.
And it was his eyes, like they were pretty empty. So
yeah, a friend of mine, I guess, I don't know, Mad Max, if you know, but so a friend of mine was rotated in to be his guard at San Quentin after the murders, the Tate murders and all this stuff went down, right? But Manson allegedly never actually committed any of those murders. He had, what was it, Squeaky Fromm and the cowboy dude.
Yeah.
Tex.
There you go.
Yeah, and he had all of these people commit the murders for him, and he never actually did that. But he would he would try to manipulate the guards, so they would rotate the guard staff on him every few weeks because he was just this constant mind thing that he would do, and it was bad.
Oh, by the way, when he was a youngster and he was in prison, before he was let out in the 20s, when he was 21, sorry, not the 20s, when he was 21, he read a bunch of self-help books, like how to influence people and make you like them, and Dianetics, Scientology, stuff like that. And if anybody knows anything about criminals, the best form of getting what you want is manipulation. Right. And he would do that with his followers. And
they found Jesus.
If you're new to him, you're new to the group, he would dose you, and especially for female, dose you until you're smart, you're beautiful, blah blah blah, and that would go on for a long time. not to mention amphetamines, which is to keep you up. So you're taking amphetamines and LSD, and you're doing a 12, 18-hour trip. And he just wanders in. He's like, I'm Jesus, I'm God. Do what I want.
Right.
And they eat that shit up.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if they actually like believed everything, but I mean, after a lot of sleep deprivation, you're like, oh, this guy, oh, look, it's Jesus. And he's walking in and he's going to tell me what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
So I did read a few books on him a long time ago. I mean, I read Helter Skelter and all these other books, but one of them was on I wish I could remember the name of the book, but it was written, I want to say it was by a police officer who had run-ins with him and the family out there on Spawn Ranch. And even though he was never convicted of murder, he must have been convicted of murder, but he was like the mastermind, right? He didn't do the Tate family, right? Or all of that. But this detective believed, so it was an alleged because they didn't have any proof, that there were a number of people that went out to the Spawn Ranch, particularly men, who were never seen again.
Yeah.
And
very haunted.
Yeah, that was, and those guys, those people that were never seen again. I think that was part of the way that they got some of their money. They were robbed. They were killed and robbed.
Yep. I was going to say, yeah, because when I was researching this, they were all about nothing. Like you joined the family, you ditched your clothes, you ditched your identity. They even got rid of their watches. Like they didn't have a clock on the wall, nothing, so you could forget time. And I was like, that is completely manipulative in a mindset. And then I was thinking, well, how did they get their money? They had to rob people. And before Manson got convicted, he got convicted on car theft. And the only reason he got let off was a flub in the paperwork.
Do you think that your spidey senses, because I've been around people where my spidey senses go bananas and I'm like, ooh, this person needs to be way over there. Do you think that he would have done that to you guys?
Absolutely.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I've never met the guy, so I couldn't tell you.
I know that, Bertie, but I'm just saying there are a lot of people that you run into in this world where all of a sudden you're like, oh, this is bad. This person's bad.
Well, you just narrow down everybody I talk to every day. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
What?
You know, it's funny that you say that.
No. Yeah, there's some people that you're walking down the street and you're like, I'm going to cross the street.
Max, what were you going to say?
So there's a lot of people that are like that, and they in jail. There's certain rules that you as staff that you can't do, and one of them is you're not supposed to spend one-on-one time with any kind of an inmate. Okay, you're not supposed to. So they'd have social workers, or when they had medical, there was always a staff member, and it's those kind of people. They're very manipulative. Manson's not the only guy. He's very well known, but there's a lot of guys and females in there that they to them it's a game. To them it's a game. They've got 24 hours to watch exactly what you do. Yeah. They've got, they know what your schedule is. They know certain things about you. Oh, hey, you got a haircut.
I was just going to say that.
Yeah. How come you're not wearing your blue watch today? Are those, and it's just the stuff that we think is just whatever. You don't have your medal on your chest today. How come? You don't have your CIT button on today. How come? And that's what they do. They get into your head, and I unfortunately I've seen staff turn against staff over those manipulative people.
Yeah.
And they're smart. Don't ever think just because somebody's on the other side of the bars that they're stupid, because they're not.
Oh man.
Yeah.
They
Actually-
know how to play the game, and they're very, and you can see them when they start running the wing, or they run the dorm, or they run the shoe, or whatever. The other guys start answering to them, the shot callers. Yeah, those are the ones you need to worry about.
Yeah.
A lot of highly intelligent people, unfortunately, are criminals. It's not that they can be book smart, they can be like university smart, but they are street smart.
Yeah.
And once they get into the books, that's when they become kind of dangerous, if you understand what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
Because they've grown up on the streets, they know what to do, when to do it, but then they get the books, and then they go, okay, this is a step up to, like you said, manipulation, stuff like that. I mean,
and it's a game to them.
Yeah.
It's a game to them.
And the
So-
other thing sorry.
Messi, go
yeah,
ahead.
it's a very dangerous
I just want to note.
game, but
Yeah.
they're the ones calling the shots, and if they can control other people's minds,
Right.
and they control a big group of minds, now you have an army. And they're
Bertie, what did Messi? She had a point to this too.
I was just going to say, along with what Mad Max was saying, nowadays it's not really books anymore. Believe it or not, inmates have, and I'm sorry, they call them clients. They actually have, they actually have access to internet now. They have access, and this, a while back, I've seen some photos or videos of TikTok and how people can reach out to other people, and they manipulate people who don't know any better, or unfortunately they do manipulate females. And I think that Charles Manson did the same thing. He manipulated females to make them feel like he loved them all.
Yes.
So
Well,
like they were
also-
all wives.
They played, so almost in every instance that I've looked at different cults, right, is they ply them with drugs first.
Yes.
Get them hooked on something. If they're not hooked on something, particularly LSD, get them on something, get them where they're addicted, and then you keep feeding that addiction, and they become reliable on you.
Yes.
I mean, dependent on you, and then you got them. They'll do anything. They'll do anything for you.
well, yeah, it's like going to your dealer to get a fix, and he hands you your fix, and you're ready to go home to take it, and he's like, okay, well, sit down for a few minutes and let me tell you a story. And then, and that's how it works. So you listen to him babble on, and then you take it and you remember what he said, and then it clicks in.
Just like Mud Lover always says, the first one's free. First one's free. And that's the way they hook them, and the bird is nailing it right on the head. You get those people hooked, and I mean, we've all seen movies. We've seen that stuff, and it's unfortunate, but it's just like Bertie said, okay, now let me do this. No, I'll get you this, but let me, I've got to tell you this. And you get so dependent on that person that, you will. There's, Dave Chappelle, Dave Chappelle is a funny comedian, and he talks about some of that stuff in his act, and he's very blunt about what he says. But I have, I've seen people, San Bernardino Sheriff's Department, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department did a picture collage of inmates, and it talked about how, what they would do for their addiction. I know what I do for a Klondike bar, but these people, they clearly, think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna hit you with this stuff, but I want you to go kill so and so. And these people are so sick in their head. Hell yeah, I'll go do it.
Yeah.
So it's scary.
I was. Go ahead, Jesse.
Oh, I was just thinking he thought he was also the Messiah. And
yeah.
Do you really think he believed that, or that was just a lie?
Absolutely.
That's a ploy. It's a total ploy.
Oh, Jesse believes that he believed it.
I think he did.
I think it's a total ploy. Yep. Yeah, because he used to act out the crucifixion for people while they were on LSD and amphetamines, and claiming that he's the Messiah. And he's like, will you, after this all went down, he got denied by this big record guy that he's not going to fit in. That's when he went back to the ranch, and he was just livid. He was pissed, and he's like, I am your God. I am Jesus. Will you kill for me? And all these people are like probably tripping balls for like 24 or 48 hours. So like, oh yeah, okay, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that, speaking of somebody who thinks that they're reincarnated, so do you think Lori Daybell is using that as a ploy?
I think she's actually mental. I think she's left the building.
And I agree with that. But in the same aspect, people truly believe who they feel they are. And I feel that he felt like that, regardless of the drugs.
But he was so
funny
intelligent.
that you say that. It's funny that you say that, because you bring up Daybell, and I'm not, I've been out of the mix for a long time, and not that I don't have to deal with it anymore. I pick little stuff up, but unfortunately, unless you find out that she's gaming you, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if she friggin' continues to do what she does, she's sold somebody.
Yeah.
She's sold somebody so far, thinking she's psych or ADSEG or whatever she is classified as. But you know what? You keep playing that game. So let me throw this one at you. If you play a game and play a game and play a game, do you start thinking about it yourself? Do you start believing it yourself?
Right.
Yeah.
It's like telling a lie so many times it becomes a truth in your mind. You can't distinguish it after years of saying the same lie, right? So that's what I've read. I'm not a psychologist, but I read this stuff all the time, and I'm listening to these people who are, and it's crazy what you can talk yourself into believing. It's scary.
Yeah.
So maybe Justin,
it is.
If you
come in and think about it like this, if you can come into a crowd of people and take these people over, in law enforcement, they call it a show of presence, right? And then you escalate from there. So you actually come up, you pull the cars up, and uniforms get out, and they got all their tools, and then you escalate from there. But if you're at a person like Manson, who could get right in their friggin' brain, and Mudlover and I were talking about this a little while ago. Are these people, are they socially inept? Are they hang around? Do they just want to hang around and be part of something? Are they at a point in their life where they're like, yeah, you know what? Well, I guess this is where I'm going anyway.
Right.
You've got, and if you can corral those folks, Heck yeah. Like Bertie said, you could build an army.
It's really
Mhm.
spooky. It's really spooky how these people suck so many people into this.
Yeah. When
Yeah.
I don't even know what to say. I mean, cult, obviously, but it's so spooky.
Yeah.
yeah, so when the cops raided the Spawn Ranch, they were cuffing Manson and they were telling him, like, you're under arrest for car theft, and he laughed in his face because he knew previously that his followers committed all these, not one, not two, three, but so many. They committed so many crimes and murders. I'm finding, like, I knew about the Tate Folger and murder, but there's a couple other ones that I didn't know about. So
What is that noise? Hold on. What is that noise?
somebody's phone is ringing.
Can we silence it? Sorry.
Mine's
Holy
on.
moly. Okay. All right.
I had the barking spiders. Sorry.
Okay. So, anywho, where were we going with that? I was so distracted by the noise, Bertie, that
Yeah, yeah.
So here's a thing. So from what I understand, I've been listening to on audiobooks because I don't have time to actually read anymore. It's Mine Hunter, the started the FBI profiling, right? And I know they have the series out. This is his book that he wrote, and how had they developed this program and how they interviewed Manson and all this stuff. And he was really, I mean, he talks to everybody, Ed Gein and all of these guys, right? But what's really interesting to me when he talked about interviewing Manson was, and I didn't know this, that Manson went in after the murders. And that's when they did the destruction of the property. Like they were painting all that stuff on the walls. And
what is that, pigs and stuff like that?
Kill pigs and all this stuff like that. They were painting it with the blood, right? So he went in after the fact, apparently, and did all of this. It's fascinating to me that they actually got him for that crime when he was not. And I don't know how it works, Mad Max. You'll know better than me. But how they convicted him when he wasn't the one who actually did it.
Well, when detectives are I don't want to say strange bunch. They're a very interesting bunch. And a good detective is like a friggin' dog getting a bone, and they'll keep digging. And you have to understand, as a detective, and that wasn't my gig. I have a lot of friends that were detectives, and they clearly they go to classes for it, but they continue to talk to people, and they ask the right questions, and and they'll come back and they'll ask these people, well, so and so was here, and what about so and so? And once they start doing that link and they start adding people together and putting things together, they can swoop in and pick somebody up just because. And once they do that, they link them to that, and it's all over.
Huh.
The one thing that you talked about, the Tate LaBianca murders, and the one thing that they did paint on the wall was what?
Well,
Helter Skelter.
Helter Skelter.
Helter Skelter.
Now, who's saying that?
Huh?
The Beatles, right?
The Beatles sang that song. So Manson was so enthralled with them that he wanted to. He wanted to be the fifth Beatle. He wanted to be in the Beatles.
Yeah.
So bad.
And that friggin' guy, he pushed and pushed and pushed, and they just were like, nah. But he was so enthralled with the Beatles that that was part of his thing. He wanted to be the fifth Beatle, and
he was so obsessed that
Yeah.
he would send his little girlfriends or whatever out into California, especially Southern California, and try to hook up with all these rock stars so he could get a toehold into the industry. That was his gig. Where the hell is that buzzing noise coming
I
from?
don't know. Whoever it is,
It's not me.
silent, like totally silent. Because, yeah, I can't figure this out. It's really distracting.
It's not me.
Not me.
I
Wait.
unplugged my phone. I don't know.
I have nothing going on my phone.
Anyway.
Maybe turn your phones off? I don't know.
You got a phone plugged into a computer somewhere?
No.
No.
I'm turning mine off. Okay, so yeah, it's bizarre to me that this little dude with creepy eyes got such a following, but remembering the time, but that's not always the case because we have modern day cults.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, modern day as in like right now. I mean, Manson was in that. When was this? The 60s, 70s? 60s.
Yeah, 68.
Yeah. And Mad Max, you have a cult that's off the hook.
Yeah. So I there's been a saying that people have said for a long time, and I had no idea what it means. And they talk about drinking the Kool-Aid. I had no idea what that meant. So I started doing some research on the People's Temple. That was Jim Jones. And Jim Jones was actually, he was one of those guys that wanted to be somebody. He founded his own church, and this would have been in the early 50s. He founded his own church, and he became really interested in communism. And he was frustrated by the targeting of communists in the United States. So during the Red Scare, he wanted to become a communist. He wanted to be a Marxist. That's how he lived his life. That's what he wanted to do. So he started infiltrating some churches of Marxisms and stuff like that. He as he was going through this stuff, he started becoming kind of concerned about backlash because he was he wanted to be a communist. He wanted to get the Communist Party incited on this in the United States. He was surprised that a Methodist superintendent helped him enter the church. So now he's going to be he's a Methodist. And despite his knowledge of Jones that Jones was a communist, 52 Jones became a student pastor in this Somerset Southside Methodist Church in Indiana. So here you have this guy, right, that's infiltrated this church, and that's the term that I will use. And he's learned how they train their folks. We just go to church, but the pastor and everybody that's in that supervisory positions, they went to school, they're trained to do stuff like this. And that was one of the schools that he went to. In 1954, he founded his own church in a rented space in Indianapolis, and he called it the Community Unity Church.
Mm.
He decided at that point, well, now, he'd been watching some faith healing from Seventh-day Baptist, and he decided, well, that's what he was going to do now. So he started becoming a faith healer, and these healings involves the use of chicken livers and animal tissue. And what they would do is these people had cancerous lesions, and they would do like they did Andy Kaufman, right?
Yeah.
They ended up, taking these cancerous cells out of their body, and it was chicken, and it was cat livers, and it was whatever. Excuse me, but he got these people behind him. That's how you start building these people. We talked about just a few minutes ago how these folks, they need to belong. And Brian nailed it. These are the people that need to belong somewhere.
Right.
So if you can show them, that's the moth to flame, right? If you can get those people coming your way, heck yeah. Go ahead, please.
Well, Matt, sorry, but back on Valo, didn't Valo's craziness, wasn't there an end of days and the date came and went?
Yeah, I think she got it from Chad. Like Chad wrote books about how he crossed over and he felt like he was a messiah or something like that. I don't know. So
they had like an end time too, like the apocalypse, but it was like 2022. Yeah, 2022. Yeah, that's right.
And what's funny is those people, once they get into that, you get those, you can incite anything. If for whatever reason you had people, that want to be somewhere, they want to hang around, they want to be something, you can incite those people and you can get them doing whatever you want. So, all it takes is somebody that's a little bit more gregarious and they can talk to these people and get in their heads. So in 1955, Jones bought his first church building. It was located in the racially mixed Indianapolis neighborhood. His first church was called Wings of Deliverance. Later that year, he would rename it to the People's Temple Full Gospel Church. And he did a lot of stuff with these folks. And he would get clairvoyants there. He would get spiritualists there. And he would get all these people coming into his church. He began closely associating with the Independent Assemblies of God, the Latter Rain movement, which is an interesting movement as well. And I mean, he got some of the people that he got into was William Branham, who was an evangelist, a Pentecostal leader, and he had a global healing revival. We can skip down a little bit. He would bring these people into his fold, and once you have this base, you could get people to do anything for you. In 1960, he opened a soup kitchen for the poor and expanded their social services to include rent assistance, job placement, free canned goods, free clothing, coal for winter heating. So it seemed almost like he came from a place he wanted to give back. He wanted to help folks out. Mm-hmm. But he ended up having ulterior motives, for the lack of a better term. Mm-hmm. They further elevated. Thank you. When Jones was appointed to the Indianapolis Human Rights Commission, he engaged in public events to integrate businesses with subject and a lot of media coverage. So this guy's working up. Now he's got the media on his side because he's a good guy. He's a really good guy. He read about a gentleman by the name of Father Divine. Father Divine was the founder of the International Peace Mission Movement. Now remember, 50s, 60s, 70s, people, we didn't have social media. We were not able to look stuff up. So when you heard something and you kind of aligned with that guy, you kind of fell in lockstep with that person. And that's just the way it was.
Yeah.
He visited the Divine several times. Jones would study Divine's writings and tape recordings of his sermons. The temple printed Divine's texts for members and began to preach that members should abstain from sex and only adopt children. So, I mean, this guy, he's got these people going.
But he didn't abstain.
No, and that's the funny thing about it is in 1961, he claimed that he had a vision in which Indianapolis and Chicago were destroyed by a nuclear attack. So he started convincing his people, hey, we got to roll. We got to get out of here. We got to find a new location. They actually moved to Rio de Janeiro for a while, and they tried to settle in Rio de Janeiro. And apparently, they sent a preacher that had become a follower in Brazil back to Indiana to stabilize that temple. So he was there getting those people round up. You know, he's getting all these people round up. They were in Los Angeles, San Francisco, Bakersfield, Fresno, Sacramento.
Wow.
And anybody that knows those areas knows that they're highly dense. They're very dense.
Yeah.
And they have a lot of people that want to follow people. Okay. Again, remember the time that it was. He made multiple trips to California to locate suitable locations. And he ended up moving to Redwood Valley, California, which is a beautiful area. Redwood Valley is it's right over by Ukiah.
Yeah, it is.
In California, he was able to use his education degree from Butler University to secure a job as a history and government teacher at an adult education school in Ukiah. So now he's trying to put everything together. Right? And Bertie knows exactly where I'm going with this because he's getting all these people together. By 1968, the People's Temple in California was location was admitted to disciple of Christ. Jones began to use that denominational connection to promote People's Temple of 1.5 million people. So now that's again like Bertie said, that's an army. They started doing some other stuff. Jones taught those that remained drugged on an opiate of religion had to be brought enlightenment, and he defined that as socialism. So we went from from communism to Marxism to socialism now. He also talked about rejecting the Bible as a tool to oppress women and non-whites. Jones referred to the traditional Christianity's views of God as sky God, which meant there's no God at all. And Jones claimed to be following the true God who created all things. And that was the divine principles. There's so much stuff. They end up taking these people and they stripped them of what they were, right? So when they moved everybody onto this commune, and these people would work for the commune. They would send people out that would actually go and fund the commune. He ended up warning his followers there was an imminent, these words today, apocalyptic genocidal race war and a nuclear war. He claimed the Nazi fascists and white supremacists would put people of color into concentration camps. So, I mean, he had a pretty good following. He said, if you're born a capitalist in capitalist America, racist America, fascist America, then you're born into sin. But if you're born into socialism, you're not born into sin. So with these people, again, these people want to be something. They want to be part of something. He started using illicit drugs after moving to California, which further heightened his paranoia. He increased his fear of control and manipulated his followers. There you go. We came back to manipulation. And I guess it's just you and me, Bird.
What happened to everybody? Where'd they all go?
What happened?
They're here.
It's that damn noise. I'm sorry, man. Every time I'm like grooving with what you're saying, this damn noise goes off.
Anyway.
Okay, go ahead.
It seems that we have drank the Kool-Aid.
I haven't seen Colleen break up like this in years.
It's shit. I can't figure
Where the hell is this phantom buzz coming from?
Let's go to 1974.
Hang on, let me-
1974.
Yes, let's go.
There it is again.
74 was a cool place.
Hang on.
That's when he moved everybody to Guyana. And the community was established, a piece of property as the People's Temple of Archaeological Agricultural Project, and they dubbed it Jonestown because of him. Everybody, there was all kinds of races there. Everybody was there. They ended up having a governor.
I'm so sorry, Mad Max. It's
I don't know what it is. Keep going.
Anyway, November 17, 1978, Representative Leo Ryan took some folks down there. They landed down there, and they were going to go back and do a report and tell law enforcement, everybody, they need to come and take care of this place. And come to find out, they ended up killing him and some of his folks as they were boarding the plane to leave. Let's see. That evening that they shot the congressman, or the representative, excuse me, Jones ordered his congregation to drink a concoction of cyanide and grape flavor aid. In all, 918 people died, including 276 people. This included the 4 that died at the temple headquarters. Some members resisted revolutionary suicide, and they were injected with. They didn't want to drink the Kool-Aid, so they got fatal doses of cyanide. And at some of the infants, that happened to them as well. Jones himself.
The cyanide. How do people get a hold of that? That's my question.
Yeah,
you can get it a lot of places.
Well, I know arsenic is pretty common, right? 'Cause that's a rat poison.
You didn't even do anything. Wait.
Anyway, Jones himself he died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound, and it was the single loss. It was the greatest single loss of American civilian life due to deliberate acts until September 11th.
How many people died?
Wow.
918 total.
This is just
276 were children. And to take a step
terrible.
backward, he if there was a married couple that would come in, he would rape the wife that came in, and in some instances he ended up raping the men that were there as well that followed him. So yeah,
that's crazy.
Real piece of work, that guy.
Yeah, that's worse than
And
ever.
he just interesting. Just unfortunately, like we talked about, these are some of the people that just are garbage.
Yeah,
That's just the way it is.
to make kids drink the Kool-Aid. It's not.
Yeah. I don't understand.
it blows
that.
my mind that that people didn't at that point just say, "Whoa, wait, what? No, you're not taking my kids." And there was a couple, wasn't there? Or at least one of them tried to get their kids out on that plane.
Yeah, there were, and that was part of the reason that they ended up killing all those people, because they were afraid that that they were going to tell everybody about what was going on there. So,
Well, guys, we're just really sorry about what's happening with this audio. We cannot figure it out. And we're not laughing at the loss of life or anything else. It's actually driving us a little bit bonkers trying to figure out what this noise is and what's happening. So, yeah, I remember when this went down. I remember the news, watching it with my parents, and they were trying to explain to me what was happening, because my mom was always of the mindset that if you're old enough to ask, you're an honest answer, right? So she was trying to explain this to me. in terms that I would understand at that age. And I just couldn't, I could, and I still can't wrap my head around the fact that people would follow that. Well, Heaven's Gate and all these other places follow into death, you know. What's happening?
Yeah.
What in God's name is going on?
I have zero idea what is going on.
There is a storm. I have a storm above my head. Not literally. But
Maybe that's why we're getting buzzed. But I was going to go into a conspiracy theory.
I think we're going to have
if we said something like smoothie, chunky peanut butter, that would get buzzed.
or Scientology.
Don't
Oh,
say that.
yeah, I can't. So I wondered, like, is there something in our audio settings on the podcast that anytime somebody comments or something, it's buzzing us now? But that's not going on.
Do you have like censored words or something like that? I don't know.
No.
Cult. Jim Jones.
Manson.
Helter Skelter.
Buttered toast.
Buttered toast. So, yeah. So sorry, Mad Max. The whole thing was chaos, and I really.
It's all good.
I cannot hold it together when stuff goes down like this. You're just like a trooper
you know what?
through it, and I'm losing it every time the buzz happens. And
You know what? It makes for a great episode because we don't know where it's coming from. We can't figure it out.
And this is the only time it's ever happened to us.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, I shut off my phone.
Brian.
I put it on Do Not Disturb. I dare you during a podcast. And all of a sudden we're getting mimp, and I'm like, what'd I say? I'm thinking it's YouTube going, you can't say that. I'm like, I just said like pine tree, ma'am.
No.
Dirty. I think it's your barking spiders. I'm sorry, but you know.
I don't know how they got in the microphone and the internet. I'm sorry.
Okay, so let's talk about.
I'll eat less chili next time.
Oh my
Okay.
God.
And Taco Bell.
Ooh.
Same thing.
Taco Bell.
If you're ever constipated, go to Taco Bell. You will not be 30 minutes later. Just saying.
That is an urban legend.
Turbos.
It is not an urban legend. It is not an urban
I have
legend.
never had that problem.
Wow. Well, okay. So let's talk about what do you think the residual energy is like at a place like where Jim Jones did this? What do you think spiritually it does to that area? And can that area ever heal from something like this? Jesse?
You know what? It's funny that you say it like that because, you know, one of the thought processes, right, is people that die a violent death, right? You know, somebody gets hit by a car, haunts that part of the road, or
Right.
whatever. I think that these people knew what was going on. So in this instance, right, in the Guyana instance, Jonestown, whatever you want to call it, I wonder, since these people knew what they were intending, they already knew. So I would doubt that they would haunt this place. Ooh, Brian, I don't know. That's a good question.
Brian, super good question. I guess it depends on what your belief is like in religion. I mean, like a Catholic would say they've gone to hell, and a lot of Christians would say they've gone to hell. I unfortunately think that those energies come back.
Yeah.
More destructive and more powerful.
I feel even if they're not haunting, there's still a lot of energy that soaks within the land.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's a lot of maybe residual energy that's still there. You know, for me, kind of like that's what I would feel. I wouldn't say necessarily haunting. I would think maybe the kids too, like they didn't know what was going on. They just knew, hey, drink this Kool-Aid. You know,
And yeah. You know, and it's heartbreaking because, like I said, I've listened to a couple of these audio grabs, and it's heartbreaking. I can't wrap my head around, you know, what their thought process. I don't think that they had a divine intervention. I don't think that they thought, well, you know, if we all go here, we're all going to do this. I think that Jim Jones actually did a, you know, I don't want to get in trouble, so I'm going to kill everybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, and it's unfortunate because, you know, you're right, those children. And like I said, if you have, I don't know if it's intestinal fortitude or whatever it is, that kind of stuff is interesting to me. But yeah, you know, kind of go through YouTube and bring up some audio files of friggin' Guyana, of Jonestown, and it's heartbreaking. It really is, because there's one time where he says, you know, that you know, there were infants there and they didn't want to drink the drink. They didn't want to drink the Kool-Aid, and it was grape juice. It was grape flavor aid, which is like Kool-Aid, right? And it was cyanide. And at one point, he told the parents to cover the baby's noses and mouths.
Yeah.
Yep. You know what that's called? You know what that's called? Burking.
What?
Huh?
It's called burking, where you plug their nose in their mouth so they can't breathe.
Yeah.
Well,
so like I said, with those people, I hope, like Brian said, I hope and pray that those people are in a special hell. You know, there's a special place.
I remember watching all of this, and this was back before the news was actually soft, because the news back then would show very graphic stuff, and they had cameras going, showing you the bodies everywhere. They wouldn't show that.
Yeah.
Right. So it was 9/11.
And those screen grabs.
Remember 9/11 when people were jumping out of the towers, they stopped showing stuff like that. They softened it immediately. And although they did show it initially, and then they started scrubbing the media. And back then, when Jonestown happened, we were all mesmerized. We're sitting around the TV watching this every night, right? You had 3 channels back then, and you're watching this, and every channel had it. The camera is panning over the bodies. Yeah. It was not hidden from anybody. And if that's not enough to wake you up, if you're thinking about getting into something like this, it should have.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. When I was watching that documentary on the Manson family, they were showing the house that this all happened in. And of course, it's all cleared out and everything like that. And to Jesse's point, to whoever said it, do you think it's haunted? I don't. Who knows? I mean, I don't see why not. I mean, there's horrific stuff that happened there. I don't see why it wouldn't be.
If memory serves me, there has been either a really well-known psychic or team that have been in there, and there is a lot of energy and activity that goes on there.
Yeah.
So
yeah, well, you know, you got to remember too, it was the Tate and LaBianca. They've done a lot of stuff there too. So that's a horrific death. You know, I think that they were at a Christmas party, or they were celebrating something. It was just a little get together for friends.
Yeah, wasn't it right before Christmas? And she was like almost 9 months pregnant, or close to it.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And didn't they deliver the baby?
Oh God.
No.
Mm-mm.
Are you sure?
Nope.
I hope they didn't.
No. From what I understand is that.
Be careful here, Bertie.
Yeah.
Anyway, say no. Let's just say no.
Mm-hmm.
Let's not go there. We don't
later.
want to be platform. It was pretty gruesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's residual energy out there at the ranch where Manson's place was, because a lot of people have been out there since then, and there's a lot of residual energy there. You have the Tate Mansion, which psychics have been to, that have said, wow, off the hook. I would like to know, and I haven't researched it, if any psychic mediums have been down there to Jonestown. Guyana to see what energy is there, or if, I mean, I don't know. There has to be. You cannot do this to that many people and not have that scarring left. I mean, I feel it, and Jesse, I'm sure you do too, when we go places where there's been Indian massacres and white massacres and just all of these different places with all these wars that went on for here, you know.
Yeah.
You cannot not feel that when you go there unless you're like spiritually dead, I think. Yeah. Because there's something there. I don't know. That's my thought.
I agree.
Yeah.
We're going to have to do
100%.
definitely a part 2, and hopefully we'll figure out that noise.
Yep.
It hasn't went off since, which is weird.
I had to step away and laugh. It was just so bizarre.
I was trying. I know.
I'm not the only one.
It was bad. I just went into my computer settings. Although this is a brand new laptop, it didn't happen. I've done like 3 shows on this laptop now, so it shouldn't be this laptop. But I went in and I silenced all notifications in my computer settings, and now it hasn't happened. So could it have been my laptop? But I've never changed any settings, and we've done 3 shows.
Hang on. Let me check. Grape nuts, sour milk, pancakes,
Taco Bell. No. All right, guys. Thanks for hanging with us. I'm sorry it turned into chaos. I think Mad Max should be able to get a do-over on that one, because that was bad. I couldn't put it together.
Right.
I think that I think that we need
our highlight episode called the Phantom Buzz.
Yeah.
I think that we need to, on our next one, we just need to go with the next couple. You know, because there's not much. There's so much that I could go into, and then there's just it's just so bad. It's just so bad.
Yeah.
The psychology of the cult leader is fascinating. And I don't know what's worse. What's more fascinating to me? The person who becomes in the cult, who goes into the cult and follows these idiots, or the leader? It's flip side of the coin, right? I don't know what's more fascinating to me. The psychology of, because they know what they're doing, man. They know what they're doing.
Yeah, they do.
This isn't by chance. This isn't by accident. Like, there are people, and I have to say, like, my dad was a natural born leader. People were drawn to him. He was very good in the military. What he did, people would listen to him, and he didn't even ask for it, really. But there's that personality, but he would never use that for bad influence. And then there's the people who know what they're doing, know how to manipulate, and know how to spin. And those people are frightening.
Well, when I was watching the documentary on Manson, one of his previous followers was saying that when you're under the influence of these drugs, everything sounds so great and profound, but when you're sober, you're like, who is this idiot? This makes no sense.
It makes you what Tylenol does to me.
Oh.
What? What?
Just kidding. Tylenol PM.
All right. And on that note,
less of a pain.
Okay, just a shout out real quick. We start our paranormal classes at ISU. We start back on September 12th. And it's $50 to enroll for the whole 5-week course. And it's Friday evenings from 6 to 8 p.m. 5 weeks this time, with the 5th week being in the investigation. So you get to learn hands-on on all the tools of the trade. You'll work with our whole team and our psychic mediums and develop your own skill set and your own, anyway, lost my train of thought. Anyway, so I think it'll be a fun class. Class size is limited to 15 people. And the mailer just went out like 3 days ago. So sign up fast. because it fills up almost like within the first couple of weeks. So
It's
Cool.
gonna be
And
interesting.
this class is it breaks a lot of stuff down for you. It's a very interesting class. It's, you know, you
Very
don't go
good.
right to ghost hunting. You got to understand how things work, and it's a very interesting class. That's how Mud Lover and I met Colleen and Jesse and the rest of the team, and it's a good time. It's a lot of fun.
yeah, thanks, Mad Max. We have a lot of fun. We always get hit up for to be on the team and investigate with us. And honestly, at this point, this is the tool that we use to evaluate to bring someone on, because we watch how you work and if you're serious about it, because our investigations are very serious. We goof around here, but on our investigations, we're very serious.
Yeah.
And I mean, we have fun, but we're very serious about it. We take it.
Yeah.
So I think it's at ISU College of Technology in Pocatello. So if you're interested in all, go ahead and sign up on it for it. And September 12th. Yeah. Cool. Well, we're going to call it a night, guys. And we're going to continue this discussion on cults. Next week, we have more coming at you.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Have a good week.
Good night.